Roger Dodger, rebuilding years are hard. They are, and I think we're a little bit spoiled because this has been so far, a pretty solid year that is looking pretty good. Robert,
I'm here to tell our Trojan faithful, our fans, hey, yeah, I get it. The spread was 26 and a half. I thought we were going to beat ASU. I predicted 48-13. I was wrong. But we won 42-25. Yeah, we won by 17. We didn't win by 26 and a half and cover the spread. That's 2 weeks in a row. Oh, my God, the sky is falling. These bandwagon Trojan fans that were Trojan fans for the last 3 years are going to complain. I thought we got Lincoln Riley. These kids are getting paid. NIL. How come we're not winning by more? ASU's horrible. They blew out their coach and USC choked. What was up with the defense? That's a bunch of BS. Did you see the Georgia game? Come on. Georgia goes in to Missouri, and this is how hard it is to play on the road. Missouri is arguably the worst team in the SEC. You can go ahead and complain.
They're awful.
Yeah, they're awful. And they go in there, and they had a freaking pulling out of the hat in the last 2 minutes. And I think Georgia was probably favored by 30 points. It's ridiculous. But it doesn't matter. Do you think Georgia fans care? No, they got a victory. They won.
Yeah. And if you guys remember when
favored by 44.
And Rick,
Rutgers at home. This was their 5th game in a row. They don't leave the state of Ohio in freaking September. Favored by 44, and they won by 39. They didn't come to the either.
Rick, remember when we were winning national championships in 2004 and in 2005, they were not always stomping those other teams. I mean, they had lots of good games. They had fourth quarter comebacks and wins and stuff like that.
And here's the key thing. And Tony, you can relate to this most likely. Those teams under that coach I shall not name, he always talked a good game, and he could never make halftime adjustments. We've seen this coaching staff make halftime adjustments, and they made them again today because, ASU's offense didn't do much except for that last drive. And you saw a lot more pressure, more sacks. We got the turnover. And hey, USC also suffered their first turnover of the year, and that was a poor play by Caleb Williams because he knew where he was going and he didn't look at the coverage. Hey, and he threw a pick.
And real quick, Gixer's answered our question on how exactly that was working with the light show. He says, we synced our phones and allowed camera and microphone access. We held our phones up, and the app knew where we were seated and created a wave of lights in sync and pulse to the music. All right, that's pretty cool. I would let USC steal all the information on my phone for that.
Cool.
I mean, USC's probably already stolen all my other information. At one point, they stole all of my parents' money, so that'll be fine. That's fine.
Tony, what did you think of the game, Tony?
I some of you guys may not know this. I come from a family of coaches. My dad is in 10 halls of fame as a high school football and baseball coach. My uncle is a long time professional baseball coach. And so, I come from the mindset of you get a win and you get a win, especially when you're dealing with a team that is rebuilding like we are. So I come out of it and I say, okay, our defense kind of stunk this week. Our offense looked great. Last week was kind of the opposite. I look at each game as opportunities to develop better, to fix problems, to learn from problems, and look at each game as almost like a preparation for the next one. And so I think that we got a lot of things last week that we needed to be ready for. We needed to be ready to be able to figure out how we can deal with adversity and come back. And in this game, I thought that we fixed last week's problems, and we needed to be able to just show how we can hold on and take control of the game and also not panic. And, some of our fans panic. And I thought that we didn't show any panic, and we got out ahead of them, and we got the lead we needed, and we won the game. I'll tell you, Rick, I don't give I'm going to use bad language here. I don't give a shit about point spreads. And if anybody talks about point spreads, that's why at USC, I change the subject because we're not here in Vegas. And if you want to play Vegas games, go to Vegas. I don't really care what Vegas thought the point spreads would be. I used to do financial work for casinos, and they're not trying to predict games. They're trying to make money, and they're trying to control how you bet. So if you want to like deal with the finance of casinos, I'll deal with that in Excel, and we can talk to that Monday through Friday. Saturday, we're talking about football, and in football, we need to worry about wins and losses. And that, so as far as that's concerned, I leave this week happy. I mean, Arizona State, guys, has a lot of talent. You know, they've been a bit of a dumpster fire. They've actually got a better coach now than they've had in probably 5 years. And, you know, I wish the best for them. And they were certainly up for it. Remember, guys, most of those Arizona State players are from Southern California. Those guys were coming home, and they were coming home to the Coliseum. They've been humiliated publicly. They're playing in front of all their family and friends. And, you know, then they're going to play their asses off. And they did. And we still won. And I'll take that as a win.
There's a comment by Logan.
Thank you all for coming to my TED Talk.
There's a comment in the chat by Logan Dowell. He said ASU only scored in the second half because of bogus PI calls. You know, we're all used, being USC fans, we're all used to the poor officiating.
Yeah. And also a few of them are legit. A few of them were kind of legit.
Hey, it's bad when you know. It's bad when you know the name of the head official. His name is Chris Coit, and I text my friend Frank, who was going to the game, because this guy lives next door to my friend Frank. And I say, hey, I hope your buddy doesn't have too much airtime on tonight's telecast. And he laughed. But, you know, his crew show their ugly head in the fourth quarter because that PI on number 14, Jacoby Covington, that was ridiculous. Okay, and that extended the drive.
A quick shout out, by the way, to friend of the show, Traveling Fools. If you guys are not subscribed to Traveling Fools, he is awesome. He hosts the Voice of College Football's Miami channel, and we're glad to have him in the chat for some Pac-12 chat late after dark.
Cheers, fools!
Cheers, fools! And hey, we got Desmond here. Desmond, our first visitor of the day. Desmond, welcome to the USC postgame show. What'd you think of the game?
How's it going, guys? Can you guys hear me?
We can. How are you doing?
Good, yeah. I think the game's good. I mean, I think they just need to do what they need. You know, they did what they needed to do. They got in, got a win. Nobody got hurt. I think that's the most important thing. Offense looked great. I mean, it should have been 7 out of 8 possessions they scored on. Caleb threw that, you know, very predictable jump ball to Addison after he was feeling himself there on that drive. But yeah, I mean, I think they did good. I mean, I agree with you, man. Point spreads, we're not a group of 5 team. We don't need to go out there and be beating teams by 50 points to prove ourselves. We're in a Power 5 conference. As long as we win, everything will play out itself.